Hi, Dipti. Thank you very much for taking part in the Business Spotlight series.
Thank you very much, Ed, for inviting me for this interview. I'm looking forward to talking to you.
Me too. So, look, on that note, I'm going to hand it straight across to you to introduce yourself, your company, and what you do.
Nice. Okay. Well, I am a technology entrepreneur with about more than 20 years of experience. And I started my journey as an entrepreneur in 2000 with my own digital marketing agency. Moved to England in 2003. It's been nearly, 20 years here as well. I'm currently the CEO and founder of PCL Health, which is my fourth venture. And I like building things and creating things. That's who I am.
Fantastic. Yes, your fourth venture. I saw that before looking a bit of research. So it's a serial entrepreneur. That's great. And so, tell us a bit more about PCL Health. What do you do?
Right. So like I said, I've been on my entrepreneurship for many, many years now. It was in, I would say, 2018 when I was actually struggling to take care of my mother who lives in India. And I wanted to know how can I know what's happening. And I am someone who likes to capture or use the technology as much I can. Whenever something is launched, I really like to try it. Just to give an example, when Google Lens was launched, I was like one of the first person to buy it and use it. So I was kind of thinking, why do we not have a technology to look after our parents who lived far from us? Why can't we see if there's a deterioration, then how much is the health deteriorating? What can we do, and how do we prepare ourselves for the next level? So I tried looking for various things, but I couldn't really. However, I knew that other industries are like literally using technology left, right, center. And that's when I jumped into Punya Care Limited, which is PCL Health. And the idea was to make best use of the algorithms, wearables, and sensors and create an ecosystem where people like me and you who want to look after their parents or grandparents and have a sense of relief that you're on top of their health and you know what needs to be done and it's not that they're living independently, and also to give them sense of a relief that I have my family looking after me. I want to live in my house. I still want to enjoy my life however many years are there. So that's how my journey began, and it was something very difficult, to be honest. It's not like any other ventures that I've done in past. It's health and care. They're quite complex, to be honest. And because we have NHS here, so it's quite bureaucratic. It's not easy to get into, health sector for that matter. And now we're talking about both health and care and the families. So yeah, it's been fun. It's really challenging. And yeah.
Fantastic. And in terms of the product itself, you obviously mentioned there, I guess we could call it home care, and then you mentioned NHS. So, who are sort of typical users then of the product?
So the users actually are, again, it's a complex situation because it's not just me and my mother. I need to be seeing what's happening medically, and I also have to see whether if my carer is on top of it or not. So hence it's a complex situation, and the complex answer to this is that we have our suite of apps. So there's an app for a carer, there's an app for me as a family member, and then there's a clinician dashboard which they can see the data coming from the patient, a historical data, and then there are algorithms which can give them some indication on what's happening. And then we have a self-monitoring app as well, or a tablet. That the two parts. For older people, we've got something called PCL Connect as a tablet, which we're just launching now. And big buttons, they don't want to use smartphones. They don't even care about it, whatever technology. But at the same time, they want to be on top of it. As long as it is easy and fun thing, that's great. So we have also launched now called PCL Connect, which allows them without doing much. Big buttons, you can make a call, you can do a group call, you can play some games, you can do internet browsing, and the reminders pop up. The family can set reminders for that matter. It could be a medicine reminder to a water reminder, which might, they might forget. And the other fun part is that I live here and my mother is in India, or where your family is. You just send a picture. Now they may not be on Facebook, they may not know Instagram, but this photo actually I send from my app and it becomes a digital display on her the tablet that we've given. So it becomes a a fun digital album on, and I can share, my mother, my sister can share, we can share what's happening. And that way, it's very important to get them out of the isolation and feeling lonely and all. I think some sort of reminders and keeping connected, seeing their grandchildren can just make them happy and feel alive and happy, what's happening, and then they can share as well. So things like that are there for them. So we have an ecosystem where we have apps for the carer, for their family members, and for themselves as well, and a clinical dashboard, and they're all integrated. And the users are mainly either domiciliary care, where they can buy as a B2B solution for their clients. And it's also good for care homes, because in care homes also, when your loved one is in the care, then they can still communicate and see what's happening. And they might not need reminders because they have the carer, but they need that connection, which comes with something that they like. And also, the PCL Connect is going to be a B2C. So many exhibitions in the last 3 years, we've been told that, can I have it for my grandparent? Can I have it for my mother? And I had to always say, no, it's B2B, because we were not. Now we're launching a B2C application, which is going to be available for anyone and everyone to buy. So you just buy that device for their parents. And we also have the smartwatch, by the way, the wellness watch, which can send the data like how many hours, let's say my mother's been sleeping, is she sleeping well or not? Is she doing enough walking? Sort of, it captures the step, the sleep, the heart rate, and there's an AI algorithm which also captures the mood actually, and other medical vitals like SpO2 and heart rate variability, which gets sent seamlessly. All you have to do is wear a watch, and it will send the data to your family and the clinicians as well. Now, if someone has got a chronic condition, for example, diabetes or hypertension, in that case, the clinician can simply set a questionnaire which will pop up at the time, let's say once a day, once a week, once a month, however many times, and whatever particular time they want, they can get that clinical information as well. And when they see the patient, so they know whether the patient is deteriorating or the medicines are working. So it's like one piece which solves a lot of problems actually, which is health and wellness related, and isolation as well. Like it's a big problem, mental health and isolation for older people. So I think so we call it a connected care platform.
Fantastic. I was going to ask you as well about the B2B, B2C part. So great that you got there before me.
Mhm.
And look, obviously, in the sector you're in as well, and the time that the business was going for, what was the impact of COVID for you?
Right. Well, I would say that before, the idea obviously that I thought about was before COVID. So there was mostly positive, because the adoption of technology suddenly accelerated. People wanted to talk to their loved ones, and we also were fortunate enough to get a project from UCL. UCL is a big name as well, but that was for not for the UK. But what I'm saying, that suddenly technology adoption increased, and it had a positive impact on us. And people now actually understand they don't need to see GPs every now and then. They can see them on phone, or also on their computers. They can like have a consultancy, a telemedicine can help them. And I think that way it's a positive impact. But still, we're dealing here with NHS, so it's not that straightforward. It's not easy. The amount of paperwork, it's complex. The processes are very, very complex, and there are lots of tick boxes, and we are working on each of them. So we're very close on that. We're starting our trial with Homerton Hospital next week. Which is a big name, and a good project to have as well. So yeah, technology has had a sort of a positive impact, I would say. A little bit negative, because then we were not meeting people in face. Now obviously we are all working remote, but when you meet and go and show, that's much faster. You can do things as well. So that way, I would say a bit negative, but mostly I would say it's good for healthcare, because people have started using, and they understand health can be managed remotely. You don't really have to personally meet the doctor every time.
Oh, great. And what are the aspirations for you for the next 5 years?
That's a good question. I would say that I would love to see PCL Health have some leadership the health and care, or let's say integrated care sector, where we can be a brand name in households as well as people would like to use us. And I'm my biggest win would be to see a smile on people's face, feeling that I've got PCL Health. I know what's happening. And that's precisely with me. I live so far, and I do get to know by other people, oh, your mom didn't have this and that. I know what she had. I know what's happening. Don't worry. I know what's happening. I mean, so that way, it's something, I was really anxious, to be honest, because I'd lost my father a few years ago before. And then I was anxious that I need to really do something about it. So I think there's a lot of people like me who do want to, we are very busy, but we want to make sure that we are on top of, the health and wellness of our loved ones and our parents. So I think my aspiration would be to bring that happiness, sense of relief and peace for people who want to really look after their older adults and make them feel connected.
Fantastic. And I suppose on the other side of that, then, what would you see as the challenges for the business?
Yeah, well, like I already mentioned, the systems here in England are very different to any other country, especially health. So we're dealing with NHS, and the amount of paperwork, there is a lot of bureaucracy here as well. Even if you do all the paperwork, it's still not that straightforward. It's very time consuming as well. Everything that you do takes a lot of time, and there are certain platforms where you need to be. So those systems for a person who is not from health, it's not easy. So first you have to learn all those things, and then you need to adapt to all that. So that was one of the very biggest challenge. And the second is to hire a team and to keep them motivated and do something which is going to be really great, but once everyone is using, until then you're just working really hard. So I think I've been fortunate to have like-minded people in the team, but at the same time, it's very challenging. And then obviously funding, you got to do the fundraising, product development. So it is a lot of roller coaster. And I like working, so that's fun. I mean, I can spend easily 18 hours a day and enjoy working actually. But at the same time, I think the challenges are to make sure that your product is ready, customer satisfaction is there, and to roll out, you need to deal with all the obstacles that are going to come because of NHS or the crisis. Like the NHS doesn't have much of the funding as well, and the decision makers. There's so many decision makers. You don't have to reach to one person. You reach to the top management, then the middle management, then you see, okay, the real people who are going to use, they might just have an objection. So that's like quite a lot of challenges to deal with. However, in my previous ones, I'll just tell you the previous startups, from the time of thinking about the idea, we were rolling out in customers' hands in the 5th month, like launched the website, did the campaign, did everything. Such positive feedback that we got from customers. And before that, in the fintech as well, it's all fast, but this is really slow in adoption. Or I would say, yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be fast now. Now things are changing a lot, so it will have a really positive impact on our business as well.
Excellent. That sounds exciting. So again, you obviously mentioned you've had 4 different businesses. What's been your biggest learning as a business owner?
Yeah, I would say that we've got to really work for something meaningful, and then the whole team also likes to work for that meaning. I think that is important. But the learning is that we've got to keep changing. The ideas come, you think about it, and then you have to adapt and find yourself right fit in the market, and that has to be fast. You can't really take it. That's I mean, as a startup, that's my learning, that you need to pivot and keep pivoting to get the right answer that market needs. And hardworking is always there. Like, I was talking to one of the friend who's got his own startup as well. And so you should actually surround yourself, I would say, with the right set of people as well. And I was saying, it's just so much work and it never ends. And so he says, Deepti, they say you get overnight success in a startup. That overnight is like 7 years. Like, okay,
Indeed.
so yeah, it's a lot of work. As long as you know why you're doing it, I think you can stick to it. And pivoting is another thing. Connecting with the right people. Yeah, that's where I think it's yeah, you can survive and keep going.
Good. Yeah, no, good. Some great advice there. Um, so on that note, in terms of knowing why you're doing it, what is it that inspires you?
Yeah, I mean, for particularly for this business, I would say PCL Health. Again, I'll say I just was not ready to accept in 2018 that we are not making best use of the technology. There are so many sensors, wearable tech, and it's just that nobody's talking to each other, like the wearables and the sensors and the algorithms. If they are like talking to each other, then we can have some meaningful insights and actionable things for family members, for the doctors and the carers. So I think I was fascinated to see that how I can still be far, but I know what's happening and I can be right there in time, do everything what is required. So I think that is one thing I really feel very excited about, that how technology can be very positive. So I think that's one part. You know, I feel very excited about it. Apart from that, yeah, I'm a spiritual person. I like to connect uh, to God, and I believe in Krishna, which is our Hinduism, I would say. And yeah, I'm very spiritually inclined. I wouldn't say I do everything that we are taught in Krishna consciousness, because I'm not able to. I should. Let's not have any reasons why not. But yeah, I am inclined. I do my own meditation every single day, and so that's who I am. And I would say I enjoy that part of life actually. And also I like to connect the dots, get the clues from universe and see what's happening.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. It's really interesting. So as a final thing, is there any news or any offer you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes, absolutely. So, like I said, PCL Health is an ecosystem, and after getting the feedback from various, people that we met, we are now introducing PCL Connect, and we're very soon launching PCL Connect, which is a tablet. It's a really nice tablet. I'll see if I can show you. Yeah, I I mean, this is how it looks like. I think maybe, yeah, it's not visible. It's all right. I'll share the link later on. But it comes with a magnetic charger stand. It comes with a speaker, because you understand hearing can be an issue for all adults. And I'm very excited to launch and to see their response in it. It comes connected with our watch and other medical devices as well. And so this it's a very powerful tablet, only focused for all adults, which we are launching. And we're doing a lot of press releases, and in the coming days, press releases and white papers, product launches, influencer discussions around this in February, in the coming month. So yeah, I'm very excited to introduce that one to you, and it'll be nice to know what you think, and I'll send more details about it to you as well.
Yeah, brilliant. No, please do send the link and we'll include it below. So great. Look, it's very interesting to hear about what you're doing. Definitely very, I think, appropriate and applicable for what's happened in the last few years. So I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in it. And thank you for taking part.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Ed, and I really enjoyed as well. And yeah, let's stay in touch, and I'd like to talk to you again in future.
Thanks, Deepti.
Thank you. Bye bye.